fish, we get them every day. In Jimmy, around the water side. Lovely fish, we get them every day. So if you wanna get your bonga fish, you better take a walk to the water side. So if you wanna get your bonga fish, you better take a walk to the water side. Can you meet around the water side? Lovely fish, we get them every day. Can you meet around the water side? Lovely fish, we get them every day. So if you wanna get a bonga fish, you better take a walk to the water side. So if you wanna get.
Good evening, folks. Samson to LIBERIA Public Radio. Thank you for joining us this game this Monday afternoon. We say thank you and welcome. That's what we do. We talk a lot, and we like to talk a lot, but we talk sense. That sensible thing I can say. You see that they're different. Me, I open my mouth. I open with sense. I know that good English, eh? Okay. That one that good. I open my mouth. I talk with sense. That one that good English, eh? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. But anyway, no, folks, Samson told I want to thank all of you again this evening. Hopefully, our panelists will be joining us here very shortly. Mr. So is still on assignment. Hopefully, he can find a way to join us here tonight as well. So we'll see. Safety, Lord Jesus. We want to thank you again for bringing us here again this wonderful time. Only through you, my Lord. Only through you that you will have Samson told. The likes of Samson told to sit around and talk. My Lord, you're so powerful. My Lord, without you, we're going nowhere. My Lord, without you, nobody gonna move. I pray for those who don't know you to know you, to know your strength, to know your mercy, to know without you, nothing is possible. And we want to thank you for making it possible every morning for us to get up, for making it possible every evening to go to bed. Lord Jesus, we ask you to continue to guide us. We ask you to continue to bless us. We ask you to continue to protect us. Why? Because you're the only Father we know. No one else. No one else. And we want to thank you for your mercy. Can you imagine if someone else was in control and not you? I don't even want to imagine that. I just want to say, praise you and thank you. Thank you, my Lord. My Lord, we ask to bless the Republic of Liberia. Bless the leadership of the Republic of Liberia. Give them wisdom to know what is good and how to do good for our people. My Lord, I ask you to bless the host country of the United States. I'm also asking you, my Lord, as we open our mouth here tonight, we ask you to guide our tongue, guide our mouth. Give us wisdom here tonight, so that when we're talking, our brothers and sisters that are listening, their time will not be wasted. Take all jealousies out of our hearts as we discuss whatever we're going to be discussing tonight. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you for joining us again, folks. Samson to LIBERIA Public Radio. I'm going to be rambling here until the guests, but the folks tune in. A few things I want to talk about. The first thing I want to talk about is what is happening with my own candidate that I admire, standing bearer of Unity Party. I'm not a member of Unity Party. I just admire him. We also know that Honorable Cummings, in the United States, making his round, and hopefully he will be here in the Sacramento area very shortly. We hope to be there as well. Councillor Gonglo is making a headway as well. I mean, he's doing real good. So all three of these people needs to be praised, and we will praise them and say thank them. We will continue to thank them. Make sure that people understand that these people are honorable people who wants to serve the Republic of Liberia. As usual, on the other platform, I will come up and show you the current president and even praise him if need be. But a few things I want to talk about here tonight as I'm waiting for my analysts, if at all they're going to be joining, because it's Monday afternoon. Most people are busy. And he kind of analyst job, then we not pay no. If I don't pay me up for 5 months, I come in, and you know what they're doing, like, bro? When somebody ain't paid, then they put roadblock on the way. I come and go to Providence. I go in there with my mattresses and my camp bed and things like that. I will put roadblock on the road. If I say, well, not going to work, you got to pay me. Isn't that what they're doing, like, bro? And you get paid, they put roadblock on the road. Myself, I go in the Rhode Island. I will put roadblock on what highway is Highway 99. No, 95. 95. I will put roadblock on it. You got to pay me. He ain't pay me yet. I hear running my mouth every day. He ain't pay me yet. No, but on a very serious note, everyone is busy. So I understand the analysts are busy. We get that. It's Monday afternoon anyway. But this is how we put food on the table here and back home. We have to work. But let's get back. So quite recently, there have been some alarming situation that is concerning. And it should be concerning to many, many Liberians, if not all. Those of you who care for the democracy process in Liberia, you should be concerned. There's writing coming from Liberia, some major newspaper carrying a title like the National Election Commission chairperson, is pretty much running the show by herself. It's concerning. Yes. I'm gonna protest. I'm going to Rhode Island, and I will put on Highway 95. I will put roadblock on there. I take, because roadblock usually in Liberia they use mattresses and things like that. So I'm taking my mattress over there, and I'll put a rope. Then I'll put camp bear on the side, and I'll put my copa on the side of the road, because that's what they want to protest, and people cooking and all that stuff. You think I'm going to go protest and be hungry? I beg you, that protest there. Well, I protest there. I can't protest there. It's not conducive. And I go English, yeah? Yeah, okay. I'm on it. I'm on it tonight, folks. No, but on a very serious note, thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Charles. Thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate it. But on a very serious note, anybody to read these kinds of stuff, to have an election commission who is not being accused or allegedly running the election commission organization by herself. And we're talking about presidential election, presidential. Oh yeah, and I'm going English, yeah? Presidential election, and I'm going English, yeah? Okay. I'm every time. 2 3 years today. When I speak one big English, I will ice. When I chap, I will ice. And ice that go English, the ice, I put an ice on the street, and I go English, yeah? Okay. But no, no, on a very serious note, it's been in paper that she's running this thing by herself. And why would we have that in the Republic of Liberia? In the Republic of Liberia. And furthermore, there's another issue here: the censor. Those who are supposed to be trained for this, for the sanction and things, I mean, censors and things, sanction, of course, sanction, trained to be sanctioned, of course, because that's what we do. Liberian, we get sanctioned. No, but I'm very serious. These young people are not getting. So if the people, there's some audio that somebody sent me the other day. I'm gonna have to call. He's my brother. I'm gonna call him and let him give him the person he needs. There's an audio I believe it came from Spoon TV, where this guy sound either like Nigerian or a Sierra Leone, who is supposed to be in charge of how do you call it, the money people. Okay, people bringing money in. The World Bank give them money to do sanction. I can't get over this sanction business. Census. Okay, but for some, the guy was so angry. The guy was so angry where he accuses the Liberian government of eating the money. It's an audio of eating the money. Yeah. Okay, of eating the money. Why will you do that? Then he also stated that the World Bank wanted him to be in charge, but because he felt the Liberian felt that this guy going to be questioning their mood, they don't want him. I'm gonna find out who this guy is. Once I know the name, then I'll play it. I believe it from Spoon TV, So it's not something that like perhaps many of you have heard it, but anyway. Okay, Seralina. Okay, I mean, just wow, man. You know, I will call you LPR dictionary now, Jose Conto. I will call you LPR dictionary, my man. Yeah, thank you. But anyhow, the point here is this. I think I'm hoping that whoever going to be coming here to join me here tonight, he and I going to go through that again. The census stuff itself. It's not going to stop people from voting. It's just going to tell us how many people in Liberia. That's about pretty much that's it. But the issue here, going back to the election commission, why would that woman want to run that thing by herself? And all Liberian politicians, even people who are thinking about running, everybody quiet. Nobody's saying nothing whatsoever. Every one of them quiet. Nobody is speaking about it. No one, the Cummings that quick to run to the mic, he's not saying anything on this. Ambassador Bakapa, he ain't like talking anyway, so I don't know why he's still on that one. Councillor Gonglo, who has a broom of sweeping, nothing coming out of anybody. Nothing. Then the question then, are they going to wait until the election and if they don't win, then they come back and say they were cheated? And you expect the liberal to accept that? Unacceptable. Unacceptable. And these people continue to be quiet. I'm not too sure what is happening, what exactly the problem is. Okay. And even, let me now turn back to my own brothers and sisters that were involved in the census training, and they had you think that every 5 minutes, you want to put a roadblock on the way. Is that the only way we can solve issue in Liberia? I get it. People send you places to do something, they don't want to pay you. It's not just you alone. There are people who have Liberian government contracts to do major contract in our country. And they say pre-finance. And up to this time, some of them have not been paid. So it's not just it has gotten worse under this administration, that I know. But the point here is this. Somebody who I'm say used to run down waterside. We used to tow wheelbarrow together. We used to find money to find just little 1 cup of rice. If we lucky, we're able to find chigisu and red oil. In 6 years' time, because the person have access to the government, in 5 years' term, that person have amassed close to $1 million, if not more. Where is that possible? What kind of job they have? They don't have a company that produce something that people are going to buy. I don't see that. These are all government workers. Where in the world In 5 years, you don't get 5 cents before. 5 cents. You don't get. You used to be broke just like Church Rat, just like myself. And out of a sudden, you have amassed millions of dollars. How is that possible? And so, I'll be talking double both sides of my mouth. 1 minute I'm telling the people not to destroy the country. Another minute I'm telling the leadership, the people doing it because they see you. They saw all of you guys living. It's not like somebody from abroad to come and be leader. All of you was in like you're in Monroe together. They know you. You know each other. 5 cents you ain't get, just like them. And because of the of access to government job or government officials, and they give you position. They give you position in area where the money is supposed to be coming into the revenue. But instead, people are not getting paid because I don't believe if the people got money in the revenue, why would they not pay them? And so because of this, I mean, for goodness sake, they give you money to give to people to do certain work. What is the integrity? And he's saying, I will watch my word. I will watch my tongue. I asked God earlier before I started to watch my tongue. I'm not going to use words here that perhaps are not going to be suitable to the ears of my God. I will be careful. But these things are frustrating, and sometimes they get you to a position of you know what I mean. The people gave you the money, logically. They gave you the money. And you're supposed to give the money to somebody to do a job. But you want to scheme everything that comes in our country. You don't want even $2 to give it to somebody to do a job. You want cut corners. Let me say something about myself a little bit. So a few minutes ago, as we speak, I still have the nail. I have a nail. I bought tires about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So my wife's car, so she had a nail in it now. So I took it back to this guy. You know, I said, look, I just bought these tires recently. So the guy said, okay, because the nail didn't go in the middle of the tire, it's on the side of the tire. And here in California, you can't patch car tires that have nails on the side. It's illegal. It's illegal. You can't do that. You gotta buy new. So the guy said, I'll buy new tire. So the guy said, okay, I can fix it for you. $10. I said, my man, well, I just bought a tire from here. He said $10. He said, yeah, well, this is what we do. That's our job. Well, why can't fix it? Why can't you just go ahead and do it free for me? I just bought tire recently. Started pleading Liberian law. I just bought tire here recently. What do you think? Why do you think I'm trying to make a business with you? So that if I get in this kind of position, I can come to you. So, but sir, you know, we do this and we charge. So I said, this is what he said. He said, okay, $10. I said, okay, I'll use my debit card or my credit card. He said, no, I want cash. I said, no, they may want money. I'll give you faster. I brought my car back with a nail in it. It's the true story. I'm like, why come to give me $10 just to take the nail? And it's not like you are going to take the entire tire out. All they were going to do, take the nail out, put out the stuff in there, put out rubber, cut it up, and that was the sealing. That's it. It was going to take them less than a minute. But anyway, I just tell you about scheming but back home they're ridiculous. Here is I'm doing it against myself. And the only reason why I didn't push the line because the wife is not here to drive the car. So the car, the air in there, I'll wait until tomorrow, I'll fix it. I'll take it to the other guy and do it and do this the stuff. I'm not gonna pay that guy $10. I just bought tires for you, almost $700 worth of tire. You're gonna charge me $10 just to fix it? That's ridiculous. I'm gonna go somewhere else. I'll pay it over there. But anyway, that's besides the point. In Liberia, in Liberia. They get contracts. I just don't like to call names. You know, I'm an engineer now, so I know a lot of people been talking to me about work in Liberia, engineering and construction work in Liberia. I'm not going to call me, but this is what I'm going to say. Most of the contracts in Liberia, whether it be a World Bank contract or be African Development Bank contract, it's worse. World Bank, at least they have much more control. But African Development Bank is worse, where people do kickback. I mean, it's unbelievable when they tell you these things. When they tell you these things, unbelievable, unbelievable. But here's the thing about the kickback business. I keep telling my brothers and sisters, when you do the kickback, okay, this is a country, Liberia, okay? It's not a farm. This is a country. They have citizens. And every one of those citizens have to benefit, and they must benefit for whatever comes into Liberia, especially if they have to do with development. So when you go in, for example, you get $160 million contract. And yet, yes, the dirty and wicked part of it, because they want kickback, they will not give the contract to reputable company that will put their name and their prestige on the line. They will give it to someone who has no idea, no experience whatsoever. They give it to that person. Okay, $160 million. So instead of giving that $160 million to that person, they give them what? Maybe about 75 million or $90 million. The rest, they take that for themselves. Well, the funny thing is, and I'm just going to tell you the process in putting project together, road project together. Okay. So if you put a road project together, first of all, you have to do feasibility study, including all of the one thing there. Then when that is done, everything's set to go. You know your how many people, the amount of cars that are going to utilize that facility. You know everything, the car going, the car coming. You know everything. The peak hour, low hour, whatever they call them. You know everything. You know all of your soil. But you know from up to down. You know everything. So when that happens, then you as a designer, you take on to designing the role. When you do the design, at the end of the design, you would tell your client, in this case, public works, because public works, they don't have no design team. That's another shameful stuff in our country. A big country like that have no design team. They depend on Italian, Japanese, Korean, Nigerian, or Ghanaians to do their design work for them. I know so because I've seen it. And the design work come from Ghana, they're terrible. I can tell you that. They're terrible. I know that for a fact because I have had their design work here. I still have it here. So I know. But that's besides the point. So as a designer, you take that project now. It's okay. From here to there, we know what we're going to do. How many drainage inlet we're going to have here? You know, they call it DI, where all the water go in. Okay, from here, there, how many DI we're going to have? Maybe 7. Okay. Out of the 7, are we going to make it on site, or we expect the people to make it somewhere else and bring it in? Because there are 2 different prices. There are 2 different prices going to happen. If somebody making it somewhere else, it's different price. They're making it on site, different price. But the material remain the same. The steel, the concrete, everything remain the same. So you calculate those. And if it's 7, say for example, one DI give you maybe 13 cubic yard. That's just too much. I'm being ridiculous right now. 13 cubic yard. What kind of DI is that? Is that a house? This something? So, but anyway, so you take that, multiply it by 7. That will give you the total cubic yard you want. Okay. Each cubic yard, maybe like they think about estimating. The smaller you have for the material, the more money it costs. The more material you have, the less money it costs, and it makes sense. You have 15 million cubic yard. Woo! I wanted that row from here all the way to Liberia. Okay, but anyhow, and because of the quantity, that thing will be like maybe 0.001 cent. Whereas if you have 13, you're talking about almost $700 yeah, something like that. So when you're done with those things, you put all of the material you're going to use, you put the money together, and you put your mobilization on, and you put your contingency amount on, and you put 10% for waste. Say, okay, if somebody, the truck taking a rock from there, the truck's rolling, bouncing, some rock falling down. So you're doing it so the entire job, I say 10% of waste that are not going to be recovered. So you put all of that in there, inside the estimate. Then you say, okay, the whole job is going to be $160 million. Like the Ralphie Highway for something like that. Okay. Once that is done, the $160 million, the company, the contractor now, they're also going to have to do what you just did is called engineering estimate. And that might not even hold, especially now that material is so difficult to get and so high. So that might not even hold. This is the $160 million that might not even be true. So the contractor, you give the plan to them. And that's one of the things the Nigerians, the Ghanaians, they do that is so bad. When they give you their plan, you can't even read it, let alone do a material takeoff. It's unbelievable. Even how Ralphie Highway plan that I have now, I believe they said it was put together by people from Japan. You can't hardly read it. No, it's terrible. When you, as a designer, when you do your plan and turn it over to people, somebody who has no experience in engineering, who has no experience in estimating, or who has no experience in construction, should be able to read your plan and be able to construct that easily, because you have to identify everything to the letter and explain. But anyway, that's besides the point. So the contractor now take the plan and do a material takeoff based on what you put on the plan. Then they themselves going to estimate. So, oh, Mr. Toll, you said concrete here, you said 13 cubic yard, got 150, 17,000. Well, it's not in Liberia now. Prices are difficult, they're hard. So they're not 17 anymore. And I'm going to 25,000. That's his business. So you have other people, bidders, they will do the material takeoff. And then they bring those things in. You compare prices. And it doesn't have to be below, it doesn't necessarily have to be below engineering estimate, or it doesn't necessarily have to be engineering estimate either. The selection of the contractor is based on capability. They don't do that in Liberia. They do the selection of contractor based on kickback. How much can you give me? And once you give me, I'll put your name in there. So when you do that, instead of people getting a decent role, they're going to get something substandard. It's not going to be up to standard. Because if you think about it, you think the Chinese and the Japanese and the foreign contractor that you like to deal with all the time, you think they're there to give you money in Liberia? They're there to make money and take it back to their country. That's what they're there for. Nothing else. You can't go two ways around it. And that's what we've been pleading with you guys. Give the contract to Liberians. Even if you're taking kickback, But the Liberian man who has a contract, when he finishes, he will build houses in Liberia. He's not going to take the money anywhere else. Even if you're banking outside of Liberia, most of the businesses that you're going to do is going to be in Liberia. Whereas if you go to Ghanaians, they go build houses in Ghana. Nigerians, they do the same thing. Chinese, they do the same thing. Korean, Japanese, they do the same thing. Italian, they take the money home and build in their own home. And that's why I continue to say the whole World Bank system, the African, these are scammers. They are crooks. I say so. I say so. How the heck you going to look at people in Liberia that are being sanctioned left and right? Then you put in the other day, they get their money again. They're not scheming there. They're not some kind of scheme. They have to. And there's nobody there. You don't see the Liberian being called on the table to come and answer questions. The only time they got mad, the last time when two of them were playing with a donor fund, they said they're borrowing money from the donor fund, and then the donor they were serious as shut. They couldn't pay their people. That's how come they got angry. These are all scheme of the World Bank and all that. I think those are all crook people. I say so. But that's besides the point. So the kickback you have, the contractor from China, he already have his price set. He has already determined that he's going to, no matter what, he's going to make out of the $160 million, he's going to try his best to make close to $7 or $8 million profit. Why? Because the labor in Liberia is cheap. Most likely he might find Liberia material cheap as well. So he's going to say, I'm going to make this much profit. So the Liberian government asked him to pre-finance. So he said, okay. He goes to the bank. And based on the profit, he will tell the bank, this is the amount of money I'm going to be making profit of. So he take his property and send it to the bank as collateral. His own property now, that worth millions and millions of dollars, or family property, that worth millions and millions, they put it in the bank as a collateral. The bank, okay, you mess with us, we take your stuff. So they give him that money to pre-finance. He has already given you almost $6 million of that. So he come out. And he already designated, or he already agreed with his people, they're going to make $6 to $7 million profit. So what left? And that's the thing that hurt us all. And if you don't realize that, you come and build yourself a mansion, beautiful, beautiful mansion. Okay? Beautiful, beautiful mansion. You build that in Liberia. As my girl would say, even if our students are building here. Yeah. But you're building Bon County, not building Grand there. The money you stole, that for Grand there people too. So why Bon County alone benefiting? You think when your team was stupid around here? And I go English, eh? Oh, okay. So let's move on. So the money now, this contractor decided, and I've shown you here over and over, this contractor decided he's going to get a cheaper machine to work with. He's going to employ Liberians to use shovel, digger, and wheelbarrow to move dirt that his machine, his front end loader or his excavator should have been moving in less than whatever time. But he's not going to do that. He's not going to do that. And they have time limit. So because he doesn't have, he's not going to spend that kind of money because he already put money aside. The bank has already given him the money. If he mess up and don't come up with that kind of money, the profit he wants, the family member who borrowed him the money, and I know this for a fact. Some of the kickback people give you in Monreal. They borrow money to give you a kickback at 25% interest. So whether they make money or not, they got to pay the money back to the people they borrow to get your kickback. What part of it you don't understand? You don't understand that. So the man said, okay, let's find a cheaper place to get the material from. In the report, project report, the geotech tells you what kinds of soil to use on this road that will be able to support an 18-wheeler for 20 years. Because most of the design, I know that I've seen it, the TI is 20, okay? But because you have given you up so much money, you're going to go now somewhere where they call for soil. The soil that's supposed to be maybe class 2 AB, you're going to go and get class 1 SST. That one that you put on the sieve, you go to everything drop down because it's so fine, so powder that the one then when it rain, you can't run on in Brangida County because the dust, how do you call it? The clay, the cohesiveness of the clay is weakening, it's destroyed. It's not cohesive anymore. They call it cohesiveless. And I want that good English. Eh? Oh, okay. So, but anyway, on a very serious note, so the man going now, if you go on Ralphie Highway, when I was in Liberia a few months ago, they have a place over there in Tower Hill. On your right-hand side, that's what they were trucking from. Now, you tell me, you who know Monroe, Tower Hill on your right-hand side, that swamp area over there, that sand, what kind of dirt you're going to be able to get over there that will give you a good compactability? And I want to go English, okay. Where when you get in the, because when Tower Hill on your right hand side, you're going towards the ocean. You're going towards the marsh in marshal territory, the marshland. So when you get in dirt from there, what are you going to do with it? But do you think they think about that? No. So the guys go and go to the place because the good dirt, most likely they could have gotten it from Firestone area. But in order for Firestone to give them that kinds of stuff, they got to buy. They don't want to do that. So they find other property owner that will give it to them cheap because they want to make money. That's their interest. They're there to make money. So they come and give you some dirt that will now hold. Dirt. And I know what I'm talking about. Because if you look at some of the picture Carrasco was taking, if you look at the separation of the road, if you look at the road itself, the makeup of the soil, you can start grading the soil. You don't even have to go and be a soil mechanic, a soil engineer. You can just start grading the soil by looking at them. They're not going to be able to achieve that kinds of stability they have when they build that road. That kickback. Another thing. And a few days ago, a few months or a month or so ago, I believe there was a pastor that was building a big mega church in Liberia. And the church collapsed in there. Why? Why is that? Why is that? The Minister of Public Works publicly told us when I went to the engineering convention over in Banga, told us that the people were bringing in cheap steel that was not properly graded. And because of kickback, those who are responsible to inspect, to know, to say good quality material comes in a country, they take kickback, they say, okay, and they come and give them, say, oh, that number 4. They say, oh, but they know very well. In that number 4, and the makeup of the steel, it's not the kind of quality they want to. But because they're taking kickback, they say, when I say, oh, that number 4, man, he says, oh, yeah. So he check it. If you didn't get here money, who house fall down, who ain't fall down, that ain't your business. If you ain't checking it. So the Minister of Public Works told us that they were bringing in some cheap steel in the country. And for that kinds of information to reach the Minister of Public Works, then you know it's pandemic. It's all over the place. And I want to go English, huh? Okay. Then you know it's all over the place. You know that. But this is what a kickback will do for you. It will put money in your pocket, you and your family, and the rest of us suffer. Another idiotic, and I want to go English, huh? Okay. Another, they are good English, but they are a good thing. And when we start speaking in no-go English, then we put smart in it, then we ask the people. But anyway, in fact, okay, all right. I know what I'm going to do. Next time when I come here, I have this mix up. I can put sound on it, clapping and laughing and stuff. I will load it back on. But anyway, so these people now, okay, it's still everything. Another problem that I have. Do you know that in total, people are still laughing at me? Because they say I did my father's house for my dad's dead now. But I still, I didn't build it, my sister did. So what? I'm fasting, I'm putting inside. But I own it. When I leave her, I want to sleep inside. I put fasting inside. She built it. She built it all by herself. And guess what? She's not even from Total again said. So when we get to Total, I will tell her what to say, how to say it, and when to say it. You know why? She said, I'm more African, a total countryman. You think I'm going to go up to Total and start being civilized? I beg you. Yeah, in a play, I'll be a little bit civilized. She must say we equal. One year, America. 4 to 4, we equal. That was small sister, but we equal. We get to Total. The boss. No woman, you don't have in Total. When I tell you, you monitor, especially my sister, you talk, big here. I tell the president, I almost sit down for one place. Yeah, I ain't Total. But anyway, on a very serious note. So one of the laughing, I am seriously. They consider me. I'm like a laughing stock. Build a house and then put steel rod in it, and people are laughing at me. The mindset of our people, it's unbelievable what people would do to get money in our country. They brought us this idea of building houses and putting steel rod and putting rebar in the houses. For what? Unless if you're putting a story, 2-story building, then I can see using steel rod to have columns to be able to withstand the weight from upstairs. But just a flat roof, just a gable roof, what am I putting steel rod in there for? How much weight? The wind low alone. And in fact, when the wind is blowing this way, it's going the other side. So it's not like it's pushing down. Wind doesn't push down. They got leeward. But I don't want to bore you with that. And I want to go in there. Okay. But every house that is being built now in Liberia, they have steel rod in it. Most of the wall that goes around, the only thing on the house most of the time that is essential that you have is the corner. The corner of the house have to be strong. That's where all of the roof low, they're distributed. They're distributed around the perimeter of the house. But to go down into the soil, most of them come through the corner of the house. And then they go down to the foundation, and then the foundation is able to distribute that weight into the soil. So I Samson told, I'm on post steel in the house. Because in fact, think about it. What do you think they when they build houses, right? When they get to the roof level, then they put plank around that. You know why? So that the corners of the 4 corners, if you're just building a gable, there's 4 corners. The 4 corners will be able to do. The plank is the one that transfers the load into those corners. Yeah, you got some load that comes down onto the wall itself, but it's nothing. And how many times you see in Liberia, instead of wind blowing today, the tornado in Liberia took up people houses and stuff like that. Even if they were doing that, you don't put steel rod in your house wall. To do what? To do what? Extra cost. The people that bring the steel rod in, they make sure that Liberian people buy steel rod and put in their houses for no reason whatsoever. And even if I want to put, if I want, I'm not even going to put steel rod in the corner set. If I want that corner to be stronger, they got what they call pilaster. It's a seam break. I just make the break, instead of having a corner like that, I make it four, you know, 2 breaks here, 2 there, 2 there in the wall, and it become pilaster. Just take that thing up, just like a big column. But they don't do that. They small little household, and they put steel rod all over, and then the steel rod becomes the major issue. In any of the houses you go to in Liberia, they got steel rod. Another thing. When they go look at Monterey houses right now, and look at the roof. Look at the roof. Looking at almost like 18% slope in Liberia, where you have rainy 6-month rainy. So if your roof is sloped like this, water tension and roof, it go down. But not only is it going down, it's going with speed. And most of the people in Liberia, they don't have gutter. The gutter system you have here in the United States or other part of the world, where the water just go into your gutter and go straight down your drain and go out somewhere. No, but it comes out and goes straight from the zinc straight to the ground. And before one rainy season over, your house, you have erosion all over around your house already. But let me go back to that. I'm just saying things that are not necessary. Sister, when you're ready, just show me your finger and we'll put you on. Oh man, thank you for coming. But anyway, just things that you normally would not need, they make you to get it. And many people sell and now buy the idea that all the houses they're going to build in Liberia must have steel rod in it. You know, think about it all. Yeah. Okay, if it's the case, have you not seen in Monterey itself, they got some building. They got what they call front view with glass. What happened to that? Why are they not breaking the glass? It's called curtain wall. There's no weight in there. There's no weight to be transferred in that area. When you do your building in front of your door, the linens you have there, that's something that transfers the weight for you as well. But I'm not going to talk about that. I told myself I'm not going to argue with them. In total, the things they are stupid. I'm supposed to run in my house. They make fun of it. That's their business. I know why. I know that I'm right. So I'm not. Why would I want to argue with them? Okay. But let's get back to this kickback. Let's get back to the kickback. Sese, can you hear me? Okay. When you're ready, just put your tongue up and we'll bring you up. Okay. So, all right. Okay. So you're ready. Okay. Let me bring him in. Good evening. Good evening.
I was enjoying you doing your one-man show, but I said, let me rescue the paper where you keep talking about a good English.
That is new thing I start now. That is new thing now. If I chap, I ask them. If I speak big English, I ask them. And I want to buy that or anything. But anyway, let me just wrap it up, since then you and I can go through with the stuff. So this kickback issue, it's not just affecting certain people. It affects everyone in Liberia. But our people don't understand it. It's the same kinds of thing, you're in a group setting and you want to enjoy it all by yourself. What happened to the group? Why is it that you want to only be the only person to enjoy and not everyone else? You're hurting us. And this is what the kickback business is not a good deal. And but it's right now, the World Bank, the African Development Bank, all of the financial institutions in the world, they're to be blamed. You look at a president, we are government. They just sanctioned 3 of the top officials in the government for corruption. They say, oh, you can't get some more money. Oh. Then what you want them to do now? What you want them to do? But anyway, says, thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me. So the issue here, I'm gonna lay off the kickback stuff, but that's something we can discuss. What's on your plate?
Well, I did you watch the Legis leadership appearance at the Liberian Senate?
No, I didn't have the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, you should watch that. It would be a whole show.
Okay.
Pretty much, you have a bunch of people who know nothing about demography or statistics, or running anything critical, appearing at the Senate, and they were just. It was a shame. I felt so sorry for those guys because they were out of their league, and you can tell that this census issue is going to create a lot of hiccup for our democracy. And if we're not careful, it's almost like the vortex that everything is now just circling around. And it's really sad because you have a bunch of people who got no idea what they're doing in charge of counting people in the country.
So then what do you think is the hold up? Because as I stated earlier, usually you have coming with run to microphone. Nothing right now. You have your own man, Tewan Gondo, councillor, usually with a broom, want to sweep everything that comes by. Why he's not sweeping this, I don't know. And my Ambassador Waka, I mean, you don't expect, because he doesn't like to talk anyway, so he won't say anything. But why these
the major gave a major press interaction on Class Reload. They say, man, like talking business.
Yeah, well, I mean, dollars, dirham.
They want to mess it in 100 days time, like bro, look at Dubai, and he will fix the Bali Island that President we had in fix that.
No, seriously. Let me ask you this. Maybe you have idea on it. This Bali Island, is that something called Bali Island for real?
Don't start, man. No, yes. That was this.
Where is it? Is it in Cloud Town?
Well, maybe in Gibraltar now. But this was we all read that stuff, right? The Emperor's New Cloth. That
no. Before you go there, please educate me on this. Where is this place? Is it in Cloud Town or somewhere on how do you call it, behind Senghor Beach, going towards Do River?
I think it's around the Do River area. But the overall idea was that we were going to try to, and it was a noble idea, by the way, to try to build in these swamps and kind of create a good waterway, so you'd be able to control the Do River. And like how we see in a lot of other countries, even in places like like Singapore, that is just an island, right? And so it was actually a good idea, but it's almost like the hair was a thing, the hair factory that the first lady was supposed to build, that she took people to China for. Apparently they haven't learned how to fix those weave here and they ain't come back yet. So it's like just a pie in the sky idea that the pro agenda for prosperity and development has not managed to implement yet.
I see. Okay, let's get back on the census issue here. So now, just give me some speculation. Speculate for me. Why is it that up to this time, these major political party leaders have not spoken out on this and the other issue that have to do with having the election commission allegedly running the show all by herself?
And I think this is the laziness on the part of the opposition political parties, and including I don't support a political party, but I support a political candidate, but including my guy, because I think if we're really interested in hosting the elections, then we have to start bringing pressure to bear now. We can't wait till 1 month before elections and then we start yelling that fireplay is going to happen, and then we start putting people in the streets to go and demonstrate, right? That would be against the interest of our people. Now is the time that they have enough time to be able to pressure the government. Go to court if you may. or institute civil disobedience if you may. But now is the time to, because you still got time, albeit a little bit, we're all a little bit crunched for time, but we can be able to come together as a whole, rooting establishment and opposition to find solutions. But I think what's happening right now is they're all ignoring that. They're all still building themselves in this cocoon, and they're trying to depend on this strategy of, if George we are win, then there must have been cheating. You talk about the money, the newly printed money. They keep saying there's a lot of those money that's been stolen, and they're waiting for election for the CDC to carry out cash violence. Well, what are you doing to make sure that doesn't happen, right? The election commission go ahead and release a timetable that allows for 1 month of our campaigning in the rainy season. They're not saying anything. They're not challenging it. They're not going to court. They're not even going to NEC to try to challenge that. They're leaving that. Now you're looking at Legis, and Legis was talking about how they had internet connectivity issues. Well, if you are going to be going to Sando or G to count people, and you are depending on a system that depends on internet connectivity, you think that makes a lot of sense, knowing fully well that it's really difficult to get a sustained internet connection in the rural parts of Liberia? That is crazy. And they decided to hire people outside of those localities. So you are hiring people in Monrovia to take them to Kawiaken to go do counting, as if the people in Kawiaken don't have enough educated people that can do that counting, right? That you can just hire right there, and you don't have to worry about transportation and everything. So there's a lot of problems that's happening. But to your point, I can't understand for the life of me why people who know that elections are about numbers, and we need to count how many people are in the country. And because if you are going to be releasing your platform as a serious political candidate, you need to know how to tailor your platform based on the demography of your country, right? You got to be able to look at how many young people we got, how many elderly we have. Like there was this representative I was talking about. There is this bill that got passed in the House that is still in the Senate that talks about the Department of the Elderly, because he realizes that we have a lot of old people. Well, where did he get that from? There has to be a census that tells us, yeah, we're having way too many people who are getting older, and therefore the government ought to be able to take care of them. We have way too many people who are younger, and in fact, you might be able to use that to account for maybe population decline. We don't know if maybe because of a lot of things, a lot of people have died. Maybe our population has dropped. You don't know that. You have a lot of people moving out of Monserrado County into Margibi County, right? And so Margibi County is a little bit more populous than what it was before. How do we then apportion the representative seats so that people are not underrepresented? But again, they're not having a serious conversation about that. There are people who are aspirants who are declaring that they want to run to be representatives, and they themselves are not even concerned about whether or not the places they're running to be representatives are going to be fully represented by just one person, or if they need more. And that is the academic laziness that we find in the opposition community, and they're going to wait for at the end to complain that George Weah rigged the elections. For me, I don't think that will hold any water. If after elections people try to complain, like the Unity Party try to complain after the Lofa County election, nobody's going to listen to you.
I think I agree with you, but I think the wake up call will come about because many of these opposition supporters, many of their supporters, strength supporters and educated faction of the supporting team, I think many of them here believe and have gotten themselves so much involved, not necessarily involved, but they have so much gotten used to American politics. And here in America recently, where the Democratic Party going against the Republican Party, and the Democratic Party, as usual, don't like to make too much noise, believing that the people know the people lying. They will tell the truth until Trump came around and changed that completely. But the point here is the Democratic Party believed they had the abortion issue on their side, and thinking that people because when the Supreme Court first made that ruling, there were so many people out in the street. So now the Democratic Party believe that the people are going to now exercise their right to vote against the abortion. Now, what I'm saying here is the Liberian politicians and the Liberian politician supporters themselves here in the United States are not making noise now until when they find out, when they wake up November 3rd, I believe, and that the House of Representatives have gone to the Republican, and maybe the Republican might have they have taken the Senate. Then perhaps they will wake up and say, we can't just sit down here and let these things happen without us saying anything. Because I don't understand why they're not saying. I mean, you go to court because of somebody you accuse somebody of fingering document. Y'all go to court for that one, and this one that have the possibility of derailing everything that you say you're fighting for, and you're not making any noise. You're not saying something. So maybe they have their own strategy. They have their own strategy.
Yeah.
But let's go on to something else that I thought maybe we're going to be the censor issues, and these people are not being paid. You said you watched that stuff. What that subject matter came about?
Yeah, that subject matter came about. I think they were saying something about they'll be paying these people. Again, they say that they're not feeding them, they're not transporting them. They're going to give them $50 for 10 days of training. So you're paying somebody $5 a day, and in that $5, you expect them to transport themselves and feed themselves for 10 days. So they pay you at the end. And so then there was a question about, okay, and then and if they take you, so there was a question about, okay, what happened to those people who go through the training but don't get taken at the end to do the work? Do they still get their $50? And that kind of hung around in La La Land. And then Darius DeLong was pushing this thing about the two of the top buses of Ledges have been indicted by the anti-corruption LIBERIA anti-corruption unit, and these they were there arguing that they had not been indicted, and Darius DeLong had the stuff showing that they had been indicted, and that kind of senators started yelling over one another, but they took that into they were going to discuss that in closed doors. But it just comes down back to that. What I took away from there was that the guys alleged, at least the people who appear today, who appear at the Senate, were way above. They were punching way above their weight class. They have no idea on how to institute or carry out what they're being charged.
But
and they're not taking it very serious. I don't think.
No, of course not.
Understand the seriousness. I think
I'm gonna try to find that video, and then we'll
I'll find and share with you.
And yeah, I will go and dissect things so that we can go through with it. But this is what I've been saying here all along. If you pay for a job, you give somebody money to put you in a position that you know you're not capable of doing. This is the result. If you believe to know that you don't know, but you don't tell the people that because you don't know, this is what you get. And the entire government of the Republic of Liberia is filled with these type of people. People who have no clue. But because they are sedition and they're recommended by higher ups in CDC or Prince Johnson, they go and put these people in a position. What they don't realize is these people are educated, but in different field. So don't just put the person because that's a lucrative area. And I go English, huh? Oh, okay. Okay. So because of that, you decide to put a man over there so the man can get you some money coming in, and then you're hurting us. But I know for sure I'm not giving up on Liberia. The better day and the good days of Liberia is way ahead. One of the interesting things that this weird government have done, just like the Trump government did to America, is open them up. Open them up. Open the eyes of Liberians so badly that even the young people now, some people that still in elementary school, they can see now how the corruption is hurting people.
You
If
really believe that?
yes, yes,
Because
yes, they know.
we still have
No,
people
they
a few
know.
days ago
I
singing
just did
for
a
the group.
show yesterday. I just
Yeah,
did a show
I
yesterday.
watched the show. I
Okay,
watched the show
on
entirely.
on Zopeno.
Yep.
And Zopeno and I, of course, we never really got along, see eye to eye, to so to speak. But here's a man was being very truthful. And the people that follow Zopeno, I've been watching perusing the and I go English, huh? Okay. I'm gonna go crazy with it one. Something that is different from our crown language, I will ask the people. But anyway, so I've been looking all over. I don't see any kind of negative thing coming from certain group from Grand G about Zopen. I haven't seen that yet. But the point here is this: the young people that follow Zopen, okay, they listen to that, they read that interview, and it's true. So not that they're now out of a setting going to turn to be anti corruption guru. No, that's not the point. But many young people, including people in elementary school, knows now how and how and what the result of corruption, why the corruption happened, and how can you get rid of it if you wanted to, and they see it. So Liberians' eyes are open. And in fact, there's a saying that we're not stupid around here. You
Yeah,
know,
but
those
I am not that gullible though to believe that the Liberians' eyes are now open. When just a few days ago, people were gathered still singing for my girl. They a kind of spoof on Buga, they were singing for him, and that's their leader, and they're going to vote for him. So I think the likes of Zopena, okay, it's kind of akin to the likes of Liz Cheney here, right? Where you have these people who realize and they know they're genuine, but you still then have Donald Trump still show up at a MAGA rally, and there's still people lying up there. There's still
yes.
people who still believe he's the second
Well,
coming.
I agree.
And so it is the same thing in Liberia. You have a few people who, are like, okay, they're opening their eyes to reality, but you'll find out just like in this country, people tend to vote against their own interests. If you go to the MAGA rally, predominantly people that are there are working class. Most of them work below minimum wage. These are the same people that will vote against the Democratic Party that's trying to
Let me bring in the
to
good
increase
doctor.
minimum wage. So it's the same problem you have in Liberia, where people who will go out to beg for daily sustenance because people have stolen the wealth and the future of their children, and they will go to those same people who have stolen the wealth and future of their children and say, yes, we'll vote for you. And anything somebody comes to try to convince them otherwise to try to convince them to the contrary, they will argue with you that, you're hate Liberia. You hate Liberia so much that you're talking against this man who's stealing money from my children's future. So I think we have a longer way to go. I don't think this one election cycle is enough to fix that. Plus, there's not even any civic education going on from the National Election Commission or pressure groups or the political parties, right? So how are you going to counter that narrative? It's difficult.
I see. Good evening, Dr. Tokto, and good evening. Welcome on the platform again tonight. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good evening, Libra, and
Okay. Yeah,
also good
we're
evening to
just going
Sissy.
around. Yeah. We're just going around the room here. Sissy joined a few minutes ago, and we're just discussing some stuff. What do you think from your own perspective? What are some of the things that perhaps you think need to be talked about?
Yeah, thank you, Libra. This is a very good discussion tonight. First of all, let me just say that I'm back for Delaware. That our senator was here. We had a peace meeting in Delaware. It was very tense. We had some prominent Bonk citizens and our supporters were all there. At the end of the day, we have to give chance of peace in our community. So we'll be having a divided community. I've been here in another community, and also to the other gentleman from Minnesota, they had in another community. So we have been bitter in our community for the past 2 years. 2 years. And through tough negotiation, we want to step aside and recognize the Minnesota-based leadership. So,
Well, thank you.
You know,
Thank you.
real quick. Let me just say something real quick, because this affects me directly too. Because I am a part of the Bon County Association here. I live more in Bon County, more of my years in Bon County than Lofa County. So it's Bombing County that I live in longer. And because I'm a part of the Bon County Association here, I have struggled with that, because I know Dr. Toto very well, and I know the other guy here very well, and it has bothered my soul. And these are the kind of things we ask for people, because Dr. Toto has his side of the Constitution that backs him up, and he has legitimate reason to say, no, we cannot, coerce to what other people are doing, just like the group in Minnesota. So for you to see the bigger picture and say, you know what, Bon County is bigger than me and my own feeling right now that people disrespected me and disrespected the process, I'm going to let things be. This is what we've been asking of the CPP forever. Right? How can they step aside and see Liberia without their egos? So, Dr. Toto, I want to say, I know that's not an easy step. I know when people, Liberian people, when we tell you something that will be on you, we'll say, don't agree to nothing.
So
let me folks, it's a breaking news from our indication that our brothers and sisters from the Bon County have now together once again, and they were
we had a war community.
That's good English, huh?
That's good English. And Libra, we took so many things into consideration. That's fact that Sensei was saying, when people are behind you, there were some people that were there, they say we cannot allow them to go, but at the end of the day, we took the 12 decision. And also too, we took into consideration the network also too. We cannot be the face of the network also to be on the face of the other side too. So everything I will take into consideration.
Now that you brought this up, let me give you a little bit of my own story here. Back in Town, my father found land, 150 acres of land. One young man, he wasn't even born when I was in Town. I left Town, came to the United States before he was born. Come to seriously, but he went and because his father used to be, and his father when I left Total, his father was just a little 6 years old when I left his father. So whatever. But the main thing here, the young man went and took the land and started farming, planting rubber, cocoa, and all that. So when I went home, I talked to him. You can't do this. This is not your area. Back home, how our parents there, they have a specific area, years, generation, they stay there. I said, you're way on that side. We here, this is where I was born. I'm not going to let you say, go sue me. So I sued him in Zwadru at the magistrate court, won the case. He decided to take an appeal to the Supreme Court. But because his lawyer was so inept, they didn't even file on time. And they were asking my lawyer to backdate their whatever the man refused to do it. So the Supreme Court, and I spent a lot of money. But all along, people have been telling me, you have to come, and when you go to Total, make sure be yourself the way you were when you were in Total. And if the man want to throw, you throw. I said, but I saw for first thing. And second thing, what I was thinking was, how am I here in the United States? Most of the young people in our GDF community respect me. Big brother told. Then they were here tomorrow. Another son of mine and myself having confusion about land business. I can't do that. Let alone be on LPR and somebody and myself, and nothing is hidden anymore. Before you look, everything on for his Facebook. So all of these things, I decided I'm going to be peaceful. And as God could have it, we won a case through the Supreme Court. And now next week, my son is going to go to Total, and the young man is going to be evicted. I hope he doesn't start any foolishness over there, but that he will be evicted from the
follow the court order.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, because of the way you're thinking about you being on this network, and then kind of find out you're having some issue with your own brothers and sisters. But thank you very much. And we appreciate it. I know it wasn't a hard thing, because I know your young people and your leadership business. I don't know where you can get stuff. I don't leave no power. The people that want. I don't leave. You know, but for you to, but here's another interesting thing, though, and maybe I'm jumping, I'm leaping out of us Empire State Building. I think your decision to accept have to do with a newfound PhD you got. How do you call you Dr. Toto? Everything
was under consideration. Everything was taken under consideration.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah,
once you get those kind of position, you get to a certain status. The idea of having confusion is difficult.
Professor, and then beside that, the man is one of the longest serving board chair of ULA, where you get to be involved in fixing other things, and then he be the one creating the
let me ask you, Dr. Toto, let me ask you this. During the time of the conflict, were they divided on section line or district line or north and south, or it were all mixed?
It were all mixed. In fact, the other gentleman that we had a conflict with, he and I from the same region, the Wabon County.
Okay. Okay, so it was just basically ideology.
Yeah, ideology, election, dispute, power struggle.
Right. Okay, well, those kinds of things, they're not that difficult to resolve than it is when you start going sectional. Then it becomes a little bit difficult.
But it takes a special kind of leader, though, to look at your people faces and say, even though you don't want me to do this, that's what I'm going to do. Because that's how our Liberian leaders become hostages to their own.
If I would
say, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Let me make this announcement. Let me make the announcement, and I'm Samson to Blaku. Hey, Frank, you there? For one win, la bon kind of your babo, you are all Frank Guion. Jinjibote. Ula bon kind of your watch, ya babo, you are all. The more what they are doing now, let's go ahead.
So like
I'm telling them that the one kind of go down there together, we're waiting for you.
Yeah, and then also Libra. When I'm working on a press release, I'll be publishing it or maybe sometime to talk to my supporter. And then when I called it, I spoke to one of the lady who brought up a strong supporter. She said, Mr. Toto, so you want to tell me all the things we struggle for, you just gave it that?
Yeah.
I told her, no, we are now a failure. We have to move the community forward. Then she said, I don't know we are broken. Nobody should call me. I'm going to join different county organization.
Oh.
I know she'll come back, I said, I was talking to her, I said, I would not work with those people. I said, no, you can't say that, the bitterness in there, but we hope our people accept this development so we can have a united community.
And it will be very strong. The one kind of organization will be very strong after this.
I think your leadership skills will be needed more now than they were before, because now you got to go back and corral those people,
right?
And bring them back to who actually follow you,
Right.
And I know you can do it. I mean, I know.
Definitely, we'll do that.
It's just going to take some time for some people to come back around, because when we're having these disputes, sometimes our followers go to the end and they want to just burn everything. So when you as a leader and make peace, they look at, well, I burn all these things that I'm not going to go by right now. So and so since we're in a good mood of saying things that are happening well, Yababe Joe Walker is not coming to the US, so he will not be here in a few days.
Who told you I want?
I'm well informed.
But I told you, I don't know the people. They don't know me.
Unity Party, USA, Canada is having an internal struggle. Sooner or later,
they have it. The struggle going right now.
They might overthrow the president for the second time. The first time they overthrew him, and the VP key and put him back. There might be another second overthrow. It might end up being like Burkina Faso soon.
The problem with Unity Party, they know too much book. That's their problem. They know too much book. Yeah, man. You know so much book, and I go English, I go English. I know.
Yeah.
So, but anyway.
And also Libra. That point I wanted to raise. When it comes to Liberian election, I'm not even worried. Seriously, when it comes to how we are proceeding with the election in Liberia, when it comes to that involvement, or like since we're talking about account of Legion, the responsible to carry the censor. And then also they have some of the problem too. They have a dispute going with the PCC. They cannot agree on a particular vendor they have been rejected twice. The vendor that's supposed to produce the ballot and all that stuff. So now disputes are going on. And we talk about just about less than 12 months now going to election. All these things coming out. And, I don't know how would the deal will have the government. We have the legislature. This will be proactive right now, engaging them back to back to make sure that this thing go on successfully. And they are all quiet. They want to wait the 2 or 3 more before election time. They want the North are coming on again. It's very concerning. We need to talk about that seriously.
Yeah, that's what we've been saying all night. These things need to be, if this were United States, some private citizens were just taking the election commission to court.
Definitely so.
No. But if you right now you take the election as a private citizen, you take the election commission to court, the court will not even look at you. They will not even look at you. They will not recognize. They might recognize you, but they will drag their feet so much of even trying to schedule the case. If you leave from here, especially you leave from here, you got work to do, and you leave from here, you say, okay, I got a little bit of money, let me go over there. They will frustrate you so much. And I go English, yeah. Okay. They will frustrate you so much, you come back.
But that is why institutions matter, right? If political parties were truly institutions in Liberia, then you don't need a citizen. And usually, even here in America, when somebody is challenging electoral laws or stuff, that person is just the face. But the power and the force and the money and everything comes from a pressure group or from sometimes political parties that will fund it. So now in Liberia, there are so many Liberian citizens that belong to political parties that have standing, legal standing, that can sue for that. And even if the courts don't take it, at least you've registered that.
Yeah,
right? You've registered that, and the international community is aware, and everybody's aware that you registered that. But I really want to think that hopefully this hearing that they had with the legislative leadership is the beginning of the Senate holding these people accountable, at least having oversight. So I'm hoping that.
But what these people confirm, did they have some sort of a confirmation hearing? Any of these positions?
Yeah, they were all confirmed.
So.
The CDC was on a honeymoon.
That means nobody, they didn't do their homework.
Well, by the time the people are in a honeymoon period with the incoming government, right? So there was not actually a lot of check and balances, and a lot of us complain about some of those things. It only started happening quite lately, and now you can't remove these people from power. But what you can do, though, you can provide oversight, right? You can hold them to account, and you can do check and balances. That's about the only thing they can do right now. And we are hoping that the committee with oversight on elections will at least call in the election commission to find out what's going well, what's not going so well, what do they need help with, and maybe this whole thing with the PUCC can be resolved, through legislative action and involvement. Because mind you, the budget of those entities are controlled by the first branch of government, and they can just control that, and they will make them to come and maybe account, hopefully. But almost the opposition political parties have representation in the house, in both houses, so they can channel those through their senators and their representatives to call those those responsible to come and answer questions.
So, Doctor, let me ask you on a different matter here, and after that, same question go to Cesar as well. All of the issues in Liberia right now that is happening, what will you consider to be at the top if you would have the opportunity to be able to make decision as to whether will be the top of your developmental agenda in Liberia? What would be number one that perhaps you would like for any government coming in, incoming government, to tackle the first time, to be at the top of their list?
For me, like I would tell people, that the top priority will need Liberia or reform our justice system. To deal with. There are a lot of.
Why is that?
The justice system in Liberia is now. I don't want to use the word corruption because corruption will be or who are honest men for a lot of issues that happen in Liberia. But trial is not given to the common man in Liberia. We don't have fair justice system and affecting our political and economic system in Liberia. Investors leave here to go to Liberia to get their way through to carry on their investment opportunity. They had to brave first before they be given the green light to carry on some opportunity. And that's what affecting our democracy in Liberia so much until the government cannot produce or provide an environment to create job opportunity for young people, because when investors try to go invest in the country, they were brave first before they be allowed in. And when they go through the court system, it's just a waste of time. So that the first thing we try to work on in Liberia, the judiciary branch of government is a serious problem to our democracy in Liberia, and it needs a serious attention. I can give an example. We work with somebody. I would not call him. I would not disclose the person name for some privacy. And this person was a board member for a multi-million-dollar healthcare company in Pittsburgh, and they wanted to do some healthcare investment opportunity in Liberia. They went to Liberia. One of the big guys who is also on the session list today said he wanted $500,000.
Wow.
To start any negotiation. Yeah. So these are some of the things that happen in that country that scare investors away. So when people go through, you see why you want to go through the juris, we wanted to go through the court system. And other people are just wasting your time. That the same group of people, even though you go to test the system in Liberia, you go to test the system, but so that's just a waste of time. Our judicial system in Liberia is so bad that it needs some serious attention in our country. There's no check and balance on it. Yeah.
Sissy, same question. What will be your number one on the list of priorities?
You know, I'm going to be biased. I'll say education. And education, not only in the sense of graduating high school and getting a degree and an advanced degree, you know, that is important. But I do believe that civic education, bringing civics back into the classroom, teaching civics and civic education is where people go to learn about pride for country. Because if you have pride for country, if you understand how your $20 today robs an entire generation of a business prospect like Dr. Toto is talking about, then you will know that you need to put the interests of the country first. If you have a well-educated judiciary, like Dr. Toto talked about, then you get people who will understand that, you know, where morality is. How do you make sure that everybody has a fair chance in the court of law? If you have a really stringent, well-trained police force, right? That's education. They will know how to treat their citizens. And if you have an inspector general who is well-educated in everything, they will know what community-based policing is and how the police is supposed to be the friend to the people they serve. And if you have a very well-educated nursing staff or a medical community, you will understand. Today there was somebody who posted on Facebook that they just lost their family member, and they said, I just lost my big brother, rest in peace. And the next sentence was, the nurses at Catholic Hospital were very rude to us. Imagine somebody in their most painful time took the time in the next sentence after rest in peace brother was to complain about the hospital. That means that the bedside manner of our nurses and medical practitioners needs to be improved. But that can be taught out in a well-educated area, right? If those programs are really focused. so you won't have people dealing with stuff like that. And so the issue of even security can be addressed through how educated are our security forces. So for me, I think everything circled back to education, but the biggest part of that is the civic education, love for country. Love for country is what sometimes is what have somebody like a Liz Cheney today standing up against a political party, right? This love for country is civic education. And so I think that is the one thing that we need to invest money into. That is the one thing that Liberia needs to invest back into, because now we will understand when Dr. George Toto say, for example, he's running for the House of Representatives, and he tell me something, I will put everybody here on scholarship, and I will build royal. He's gonna make your job, and I want it. And I want the Constitution say you can't even do that. So don't lie to me. Tell me what bills you're gonna proffer that will help me with these issues, right? But because our people don't understand that, they don't know what the roles of the legislature are, or even the roles of a city mayor. They don't understand that, and so you'll find somebody being the mayor of a city but doesn't reside in the city, and you have people who are city council members of the city of Monrovia that live in Pinsville, forgetting that Pinsville is a different city from Monrovia. Or you have the mayor of Monrovia going to Pinsville Market Hall to go clean up the city of Pinsville. Mayor in the city of Pinsville.
I know, right? But is it true that I don't know how accurate the information is. We've been hearing that the two savings for all of the primary education system library. Is that true?
Yeah,
I know.
I know. For a while now, it has not been.
Yeah, I know. We want to school library. We have savings.
Yeah, it's not required anymore.
No. Okay, let me give you guys mine, and I'm glad that all of us are on a different when it comes to priorities. I would say roles, and my reason would be not because I'm an engineer, but my reason would be that will be something to generate revenue. Good revenue generating process would be having roles in all of these places for them to go to market and be able to sell and be able to take care. But the interesting thing here with this question and the way we're going around it is this is the kinds of stuff. I'm not too sure if this government on Dr. Weir even have these kinds of discussion among themselves. Because if they do, perhaps, even though we're just three of us here, but we disagree on that. But at the end of the day, you state your reason correctly, and Dr. Toto stated his reason correctly, and so I also can make my plea on that. But when you're having these kinds of discussion among your colleagues, that will give you an indication. And Dr. Weir should have just, like this, have a round table and just listen to each of these people, each of them. Why do you think your ministry is the most important thing in Liberia that deserve all the money that we go out to borrow? And let the people make their case. And you will find out very quickly that some of them, they are not up to par. They might not even be able to stand to defend their ministry. And then that person doesn't belong there, you know it. But because of these type of behavior we have, they're not going to do that. But what I'm saying, one of the good things here is hopefully the incoming or some of the politicians, when let come stop the book of dancing business. Yeah, man.
Jonathan, not here to do
instead of since he make a list in Liberia, why can't he come and make a list here in a diaspora where people, the diaspora community, the professionals,
competent people
will come? Yeah, make a list here. The people from different, like Liberty Party did, make a list here. Different people you from here. Let's see what you guys have and start planning up for leadership.
Which Liberty Party? The
my own sister, Liberty Party, Musa Ability, Liberty Party. I don't count there. I don't know them.
The Party.
The paper on the Liberty Party or the vote on the Liberty Party. You get a vote.
But seriously, I'm just saying these are kinds of things that we need to. Political leaders need to start looking because this is how you find out what group has a better idea. And these are the things that will guide your position as you get among people to speak. But what coming back here now, going to what, almost 2-3 weeks? Why has he not had some kind of a major gathering, giving a major speech that perhaps people will carry all over the place? No, I haven't seen it. Maybe it's out there. I haven't seen it. And this is just something that I think we need to take for fun, you know. But go ahead, Doc.
No, Libra, you strike a very good point when it comes to the role issue. That because your engineer, as you said, you know, we all in this country, like my aunt, so that she say the way they poke a lay role in the country, why is so hard for that in Liberia? You know, small talk community roles. Look at the road from Lofa, the Southeast, and that being the Southeast era before, you know, but just by seeing videos, pictures, and things, you know, you want to wonder why is so difficult that our government can't just lay that one road and put it to rest, or even that Lofa road. Those are two major corridors in terms of farm to market. You know, I saw that one. I said, why? You know, they said because maybe somebody, they say if your father in the shoe, you don't know. I don't, or President we are there, I know I can't before they go into power. I know they had a same talking about that little rule, about the rule issue, but what I saw that one, what really that were there that's up there or that to complete that project within the 6 year time they were there, or even start that project, you know, it's something that we really need to check in the mind of those guys.
You know, when it comes to the road issue, one of the things I think Dr. Weah and his CDC people are missing, it's you know, come up with some policy, and if the people can pass it in the House of Representatives and something like that, make it into a law, you know, to say if you start a road, national project, let me just don't say road, national project that is recognized by the entire government or Republic of Liberia, including the Senate, the representative, wants to recognize that this is a national project. That project must be, if it's not completed, your turn, the next person should have to continue with it. That's how you build these roads. They're not done. They're not done overnight.
But Libra, I don't think you need a law for that, because when fundings are appropriated for those roads, then the money is already there. So regardless of who is in power, they should be able to complete it. When the problem is that they come in and they use that money misappropriate for something else.
That's it.
And so even if you put because that is there, right? The cost of, when the budget is passed and you say we want to build this road from here, from I don't care wherever they want to build a road, that is in the budget. Right, and there's money set aside for it. So during the construction period, when this government leaves, another one come in, that money has already been appropriated. So why would you now take that and repurpose that? But again, that comes back down to education of both people who are leading us and people who are being led, because we got to start challenging some of these misuse of allocated resources, because that in itself is a form of corruption. If I, as a representative or senator, voted on $200 for the road from A to B, and another government comes in and takes $30 of that $200 to do something else, that was not what the money was appropriated for. That was not what I voted for. And so that is a misappropriation of public funds, just like they were the road project. But again, it comes right back down to, you know, this education piece I keep saying, because at the end of the day, when people understand that you need farm to market road, and you don't just need anything, like the Chinese mainland bro would say, it's a small money, small road, right? And so if you are actually investing, and you got smart engineers, and the sad part now is that why do we still have Ministry of Public Works when everything that has to do with roads is being outsourced? Yeah. Because when you have smart engineers, again, let's come back to education, they will understand how to assess these road projects, how to go out in the field, even if it is being done by private entity, to be able to check the grading and all this stuff. You got LEC, they were just signed to buy current out of Ivory Coast. And there was not a serious national debate about that. Do they understand that people who give you current so much more kind of own a part of your national security? Because electricity is tied to national security. We
Right.
did not have an intensive national conversation about that. And I see people clapping for that. I saw some brothers that did electrical engineering in Liberia clapping for that. And I went, do you guys really understand the implication of this? So again, for me,
You would think that they would try their best to
you
utilize whatever time and resource they had to make sure the hydroplane over there is fixed and make it work, because that belonged to us.
Yep.
That
And the
belonged to
money.
us. But you piss Africa up, they cut you off.
Yeah.
but all you have to do
Yo,
is to have a
let me
diplomatic
say this. Let me say
kerfuffle
this.
and get out.
Let me say this. When I went home the first time, very long time, back in 2018. So I went to purchase LPR emblem. Some guy was fixing it because we're getting ready to go to ground. You didn't want to stick it on the cars, it's a press. So when we went there, another young guy, he said, "Oh, you're going to ground you there?" I said, "Yeah, we're going to." He said, "Oh, okay." Because what I'm hearing, that back in 2018, he said, "What I'm hearing, that little current that coming from Africa, the Liberian government, the new government said they're not going to do what Ellington was doing, or they're not going to pay them anymore. So the Ivorian going to cut it off." Well, I didn't make anything out of it. I got a total current was there. They were still putting life. But when I came back a year later, they shut it down.
Yeah, no correct.
They
Yep.
started rationing it, because the international community were paying some of it, and Liberian government was supposed to pay part of it. And the part the Liberian government is not paying, they are giving them the current that the international community was paying. So these kinds of stuff, they are not helpful. They are not
Not at
helpful.
all.
But again, it's about our priorities though. What is the Ivory Coast doing so much that they're able to harness so much and generate so much electricity that they can outsource some that we can't, right? You have access to wind energy everywhere along the coastal plains. You can even use that to employ people in the southeast. Have you been to Robertsport? See how much wind blows in that place and how much
Yeah.
electricity
You
harness from that. We have access. We are very close to the equator, so you can harness the solar grid. You can build solar farms over there. The last time Tewan Gonglo was here, I took him to Brooklyn Park. The entire city of Brooklyn Park, their police department, their municipal offices, and everything is powered 100% by a solar farm. Right, and we can do that. We're talking
We can do it.
but the
So
problem
let me tell you about this solar. Before we close, then I'll come to you, Doc, to bring your closing, and then we'll go to Cesar to close it up. Let me tell you about this solar power business. There's a senator. I'm not going to call his name. Eventually I will, but I'm not going to call his name tonight. There was a senator that came to the United States some time ago, visited here, and asked me to take him around, and I even took him to some of these people that were helping him with some project and stuff like that. So my brother here and I, we have a guy. He does the humanitarian process. Where they go, the company, for example. And then in the story he was telling us, it's very funny. He said people will build houses and they put solar panel on it, and then come to find out the wife don't like the style, and they take it down. These rich people, they'll take it down. But because they have taken it down, they don't want to put it back on there, because then their friend, they're going to laugh at them. So they take these new panel, hundreds of them, and give it to this guy. Because they're selling them. In fact, they're doing business in Tanzania, where they have a huge solar farm over there. So this guy will go to him. My brother and I, in fact, we bought on the last time. They're in Liberia. We go to him, and these panel, he sell it to us $25, $30. Huge, big stuff. So I took this guy over there, this senator, who said he wanted to utilize that. So I took him over there. He told the guy, he said he wanted to buy $80,000 worth of solar panel from him. And just imagine the guy selling it $25, $30, and he said he wanted to buy $80,000. This guy told him, he said, $80,000? He said, yeah, it's okay. This is what I'm going to do for you. Forget about the one in a year. I will go to the manufacturer in the Bay Area, and they will give me that. And in fact, you're not going to pay $80,000. I will give it to you for $30,000.
Wow.
From 80 though. I was there. I'm right there. I said, wow. So the guy said, okay, when I go, all the guy wanted him to do was to give him the kinds of stuff. He's the senator, what he's doing in Liberia, how he helping people. So I went on the senator page, brother. I show all the stuff. The guy said, okay, I believe you. So he called his supplier in the Bay Area. The guy left from here. He said, something when I even call you, said to say I now reach my plane, I arrive, you know, change my name. He didn't call me. Then when we went to Liberia, he wanted me to come in and meet with him. I said, me, what you got want? Nothing. I don't want senator. I don't want to be senator. But those are the kinds of stuff we had. Now this guy now, yes, the funny thing, the senator has a relative. And this relative is a close friend of mine. Before the senator did that, this relative wanted to purchase some solar panel from this guy to take to Liberia. After the senator did that, the guy closed her up. When we called him, he said, no, I don't want to deal with you again. So we said, but our friend, he said, no, I'm not taking anything from your Liberian people. And that's the end of that solar panel. You know, when we told his relative, I know that beginning, always doing that kind of thing, you know, but that's the kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff we have. So let me come to you, Doc. What would be your closing?
Yeah, let me just close with this. You know, labor. When our people come from back home, we try to take them out and learn a lesson from it. We had to sit with them, give them a good question. It happened in Pittsburgh. One of the city mayors from one of the Liberian city came here, visited Pittsburgh, and we take that city mayor to the city council of Pittsburgh to meet the mayor to make some connection for maybe to get us some support. Let me just put it that way. You know, first of all, we sat down, the city mayor, the chief of staff, everybody. They asked, Marubio, what do they call the city that I don't want to go to personal, you know. They say, what is your budget? I didn't call Italian Affairs Ministry. You have your budget or what really want for us to give you? And that ambulance here, and that no paper, nothing to show documentation or something. You know, it was so shameful. It was so shameful. You know, that Italian Affair, we all know, did that. It was so shameful. So I learned a lesson from that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we show to them, we discuss that issue, you know, especially kind of the election Sunday. I said our political party or organization, you know, engage the process.
Right.
They cannot sit in the last few months, they decide jumping up and down. They want to kill Mr. We are government. This is the time they have to engage the process, and if possible, file a lawsuit. If you not get your way through the court, but let the record be that, yeah, we took the government to court also to issue. But and let's see, then the Liberian will make a decision on the battle pass with that. But they can just say that there be so and that also too. I hope the legislators should really try to prevail on that and settle the dispute between that and the PCC.
Thank you. So go ahead. Thank you, Doc. Appreciate it. Go ahead.
I will not say my own story because when I start my own about legislators coming here and wasting our time. But I quoted, and I'm going to be serious. I quoted Yeke Koluba the other day, and I want to be serious to re-quote him because I want to make a point. Yeke Koluba the other day, Representative Yeke Koluba, told a journalist, he said, my man, even when the people wrap people in plastic bag, they give it a year, they always say that imported donut. That was the exact quote. And the point Yeke Koluba was trying to make is that people were doing smoke and mirrors with our voters in Liberia. Our people have now understood the importance of this election. You're about to give people 6 years in power for the presidency, and some people 9 years. If you imagine that you give George Weah a second term, that's 12 years. If you imagine that you didn't vote before, so you were 17 years old when George Weah came to power, add 6 years to your age, right? That's 23. If you give him another 6 years, you'll be 29 years old. And all you would have known is unsolved murders, theft of public funds, exuberance, people living at the expense of the masses, and buffoonery. And are you willing to do that? And if you imagine you were 18 years old and the first time you voted for George Weah, that would be you given 12 years. So you'll be 30 years old when George Weah and his gang leaves office.
Yeah.
I think we need to, when I say we, I mean the collective, that includes civic organizations and political parties. There has to be a sustained and intentional voters education to let our people know that to take a bag of rice to vote for somebody is equivalent to you saying that in 6 years of my life is worth a bag of rice,
Yeah.
or 6 years of my life is worth 500 Liberian dollars. You have to think about the lives of your children, that you were given somebody a power of attorney to decide for you, because that's what elections are. You vote for people and they go to the House of Representatives or Senate or the presidency and they decide on your behalf, because with that one ballot you cast it, you give them power of attorney to decide your life, your death, your health, your education, and your wealth, and without your say in most cases. So it is upon us all who call ourselves educated, and it's upon us all who call ourselves political party, political institution, and civic institution to get out there and educate our people that they make the right choice. And if they're going to vote for George Weah, let it be a decision they came to after doing the political calculus, knowing that they're given 6 years of their life to George Weah.
All right. Thank you, Sissy.
Cal Penny, get me on Facebook. My name is the same. Just send me a message.
Thank you, Sissy. And once again, folks, my name is Samson. Told before these two gentlemen leave, I'd like to do things with some sort of a standard. And I'll go English, eh? Okay.
Yeah, go English. Standard English too.
So, Alfonso, I think he might be back tomorrow, but we'll see. We'll see, because I'm in control. I like the control business. You're not here tonight. I'll be truthful now. I like the control business. Yeah, you're not here tonight. I will say that, but no. Dr. Toto, once again, I want to congratulate you and say thank you very much for thinking about your brothers and sisters back home, and being able to see reason why you guys need to come together. I hope these people will do what they can to kill Carl for you. If not Carl, the goat will be fine. If they can kill Goyo, call me. I'll be there for the goat meat. Go part of my own business, that my own issue.
But the liberal, the way your men are coming now, our only men coming, you'll be in Minnesota on the 26th. So you can't, the money you are paying to go see Joseph Waka.
But who said I want to see Joseph Waka? They don't know me. Say, people don't know me. I just admire his.
People know you. When you say people don't know you,
no, they don't know me. They don't know me. You know what happened one time? One of their press secretary. I talked with Lobo. Agree. Lobo told us when we get here, we'll do what we can for you to have the Senator Barrow on the show to talk. So Lobo gave me a young man number. So George Lobo, that is, he gave me a young man number. I called him, man. The man started acting like he's. So I told you, you know what? First thing, I'm older than you. That kind of rudeness, your guy. I feel forgetting his name. If I still remember, I would have called his name. I said, I kind of rudeness, your guy. And I won't go to the library. People like you're gonna be so corrupt. Oh, you're gonna why? How you know? I said because the way you're talking, you ain't even secretary yet. You're acting like this.
They may protect you.
Of course, he called Mike and apologize, but you know, so they don't know me. They don't know me, and that's why I'm just admire to for Ambassador Buckeye. I just want him to truthfully to be in power. But before I let you guys go, let me just make my own statement here and close this up. And that is, I think the political opposition, they need to come together.
Yep.
If they don't come together and think, say, Dr. Weah and his people are weak, even if they don't pull the election commission issue up, just strict, pure democracy, nice voting, everything going well, everything, they will not defeat him. CDC right now, if you want to defeat CDC, you have to do it massively. You can't beat CDC with 10%, then think that they will give up power because of 10%. It's not going to happen. If you're going to defeat CDC, it has to be so much clear to everybody that they were defeated. But 10%, you're not gonna, they won't do it.
No.
But anyway, I want to thank you guys. Mr. So will be back tomorrow, and we're all gonna be back here. I hope Janitor will be here with us as well.
So say not allowing you back tomorrow. You didn't read a message, eh?
Well.
The message tomorrow you out though. Say if you read that one, he said like good English too. Say if you read it.
Let me see. Let me ask the audience. And then when I go English, they say no, I don't go English.
You're out tomorrow.
You are out tomorrow.
Good night, man. Pleasure being with you. The Liberal, appreciate you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank Doc. Thank you. Okay, again, folks, Samson to LeBron Public. I want to thank all of you again tonight for tuning in to LeBron Public. Mr. So will be back here tomorrow. And Carl, his name is Dr. Toto now. He's not Mr. Toto anymore. His name is Dr. Toto. He just got a PhD a little bit over 2 or 3 weeks ago. So he's Dr. Toto. But anyhow, I want to thank all of you. Please tune in tomorrow for the segment of Mr. So Show, where hopefully we're all going to be here. If they don't kick me out, he's already threatening to kick me out. And he's very good at that. Him and Amos Joy. Watch them when we count on tomorrow. You don't believe me? When we count on tomorrow, Amos Joy will count a little bit late. So you'll watch the interaction between Mr. So and myself. It's going to be cordial. It's going to be peaceful, everything. But as soon as Amos Joy enter, everything jackla. Just watch and see. Then they will start threatening to put me in the background and shut me down and everything. But then that's when my liberal self tried to tell them, I'm a liberal. You're conservative. You're not going to you're not going to silence me on the show. And that's what I tell them. But anyway, I want to thank all of you and say good night to all of you. Thank you very much. Please stay safe out there. It's very important for you to stay safe because people love you. Good night, folks.
Righteous Van Dyke. Righteous Van Dyke. Baby, this year you're not caught on it, baby. Opinim no sani kete wabempuamu. So away subontini this year. As you are in a sebo fan, baby. I'm a for Bulensia Funai. As you are Susani. Yes, you'll be a young difference of a number my do is to subret. Not sense you, never go fountain and finance inside. A son saying, near Fentina, my folk, yes, you flew. Yana, for success, and then baby, and carbon see your BM. It's waiting to ya, ever couple to want to move. Now, so dress to want to move, so want to let this come from. So yes, want to let this year. And see you know, say, buffer, baby, and I'm up for Venezuela for night. After no cat, what day in your summer? And your son don't come away in your summer. Yes, you don't want to mess down some said, but they will go see just so.